The Stillness Beneath the Storm by Stoiccat. The morning I decided to stop letting life break me started with a blaring horn outside my window, a taxi driver cursing at the world in a city that never slept. I was 34, living in a shoebox apartment on the 5th floor of a crumbling walk-up, surrounded by the ceaseless hum of horns, sirens, and voices that bled through the thin walls. I'd moved here chasing a dream, writing for a gritty little magazine that promised grit but paid crumbs. 2 years in, the dream was fraying. Deadlines loomed, rent climbed, and my inbox was a graveyard of rejection letters. I wasn't sleeping. I was drinking too much coffee, smoking too many cigarettes, and watching my life unravel one thread at a time. That morning, I spilled my coffee, black, bitter, the only thing keeping me upright, across my desk, soaking a stack of half-finished articles. I stared at the mess, fists clenched, ready to yell when something shifted. I've been reading Seneca the night before, his words scratched into my brain. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. I didn't wipe the spill. I didn't curse. I sat there, breathing, and decided I'd had enough of chaos owning me. Stoicism, a philosophy I'd stumbled into through late-night bookstore raids, offered a lifeline. 10 lessons to keep me calm when the world wouldn't. This is how they saved me. 1. Accept what you can't control. The city was a beast I couldn't tame. Traffic jams, power outages, the neighbor upstairs who stomped like he was auditioning for a war movie. None of it bent to my will. I used to fight it, slamming windows shut, glaring at strangers who cut me off in the subway. That morning, coffee dripping onto the floor, I stopped. Marcus Aurelius whispered in my head, hand over to fate what belongs to it, but keep your heart for yourself. The spill? Done. The noise? Not mine to silence. I grabbed a rag, cleaned what I could, and let the rest go. A week later, my landlord hiked the rent. Another $50 I didn't have. Old me would have raged, plotted escape plans I couldn't afford. New me shrugged, nodded, focused on what I could do. Pitch more articles, skip the bar. Acceptance wasn't weakness. It was power, a line drawn between what I could wrestle and what I couldn't. 2. Focus on action, not outcome. Writing was my bow, and every pitch an arrow. I'd spent months obsessing over replies. Would they publish me? Pay me? See me? Until every rejection felt like a gut punch. Stoicism reframed it. Aim well, shoot straight, let the wind take it. That day, I rewrote the soaked article, a piece on urban decay, without fretting if it'd sell. I typed, edited, sent it off, done. No pacing, no checking my inbox every 5 minutes. It landed me a gig, a small one, but the win wasn't the point. The calm was. I'd aimed, fire moved on. When a bigger pitch got rejected, a feature I'd poured weeks into, I didn't flinch. I done my part. The rest wasn't mine. My heart stayed steady. My hands kept typing. 3. Live in harmony with reality. The magazine folded 3 months later. No warning, just an email. Thank for your work. We're done. I poured 2 years into it. Late nights, rewrites, coffee-fueled marathons, and it vanished. I could have fought it, railed against the unfairness, but Marcus hit me again. To resist reality is like a boat fighting the current, exhausting and futile. It was gone. Kicking the corpse wouldn't bring it back. I sat on my fire escape that night, the city sprawling below, and let it sink in. No job, fine, I'd find another. No savings, okay, I'd eat cheap, hustle harder. Harmony wasn't surrender, it was peace with the tide. I slept that night, first time in weeks, the weight lighter not because it was gone, but because I'd stopped pushing against it. 4. Hardship is a teacher. The next job was a grind. Copy editing for a soulless ad firm, churning out slogans for toothpaste and car insurance. I hated it. The hours were long, the pay was meh, and my boss was a suit who barked orders like I was a dog. Old me would have quit, stormed out, burned the bridge. Stoicism saw it differently. Hardship forges you. Every late night, every rewrite of Sparkle Fresh taught me patience, grit, something I'd missed chasing the magazine dream. One day, the suit chewed me out in front of the team, something about a typo I'd missed. My jaw tightened, but I nodded, fixed it, kept going. Later, alone, I realized that moment made me tougher. I wasn't just surviving, I was growing. The lesson wasn't the job, it was the steel it built in me. 5. Calm comes from mastering desire. I'd always wanted more money, more bylines, a bigger apartment with a view that wasn't a brick wall. Seneca cut through that. Happiness isn't having more, it's wanting less. The ad gig paid enough for rent and ramen, but I'd eye the overpriced coffee shops, the sleek coats in store windows, and feel the itch. After the magazine died, I stopped. I brewed my own coffee, patched my jacket, lived lean. It wasn't deprivation, it was freedom. One night, walking home with a thrift store book instead of a bar tab, I felt lighter than I had in years. Desire didn't own me anymore. I had what I needed, and that was calm enough. 6. Courage over fear. Fear had been my shadow. Fear of failing, of being alone, of never writing anything worth a damn. When the ad firm offered a promotion, more pay, more hours, more chains, I froze. Take it, and I'd drown in toothpaste ads forever. Quit, and I'd face the void again. Stoicism didn't erase the fear. It dared me to face it. Courage isn't fearlessness. It's action through the tremble. I quit, walked in, handed my notice, voice steady even as my gut churned. The suit blinked, shrugged, let me go. I stepped into the street, heart pounding, no plan, just air, freedom, fear met head on. That night I wrote a real story, not a slogan, and felt the calm of a man who'd stared down the dark and kept walking. 7. Hold fast to justice. The city tested me daily. Cutthroat freelancers stealing gigs, landlords gouging tenants, strangers shoving past like you're nothing. I could have joined them, clawed my way up, lied to get ahead. Stoicism held me back, live right, even when it's hard. One gig, a shady client offering cash to ghostwrite fake reviews. I turned down. It stung. I needed the money. But I slept that night, no guilt gnawing at me. Later, a friend asked why I didn't take it. Because I'd know. I said, justice wasn't loud. It was quiet, a steady pulse keeping me whole when the world wasn't. That choice, small as it was, built a calm no paycheck could buy. 8. Embrace life's impermanence. The apartment flooded one spring. Pipes burst, water everywhere, my books and desk a soggy ruin. I stood there, ankle deep, watching pages curl, and thought of Clara, how she'd left, how everything I'd built kept slipping away. Then Epictetus hit. Nothing lasts. Know this and let go. The flood, the job, Clara, they weren't mine to keep forever. I salvaged what I could, tossed the rest, lived with a bare floor and a borrowed lamp. It didn't break me. Impermanence wasn't loss. It was truth. I stopped clutching, started breathing, found peace in the flux. The city changed, I changed, and that was okay. 9. Gratitude brings peace. Seneca said, gratitude is the key to happiness. I'd scoffed at it once. What's to thank when life's a grind? But after the flood, I tried it. Sound the fire escape. Notebook open, wrote, roof still holds. Coffee's hot. I've got hands to write. Small, dumb stuff, but it grew. The subway ride with a seat. The deli guy who threw in an extra pickle. A stranger's nod on the street. One night, rain tapping the window, I listed Clara's laugh, even if it's gone. The magazine, even if it failed. This city, even if it's loud. Gratitude didn't fix the holes, it filled them, quieted the ache. I wasn't empty anymore. I was full of what still was. 10. Never stop learning. Epictetus wrote, "Life is a ceaseless journey of learning." I chased endings, published stories, steady paychecks like they'd save me. Stoicism flipped it. The process was the prize. I kept writing, not for bylines, but for the act, scribbling on the subway, editing by lamplight, reading Seneca when the words wouldn't come. One day a pitch landed, a small journal, decent pay. I smiled, not because I'd made it, but because I'd grown into it. Every rejection, every slog taught me, patience, craft me. I wasn't done learning, I never would be. That kept me calm, kept me moving. The calm that stayed. A year later, I was still in that walk-up, still writing, still broke but not broken. The city roared on, horns, rain, chaos, but I'd found stillness beneath it. Acceptance let me breathe. Action kept me steady. Harmony eased the fight. Hardship shaped me. Desire shrank. Courage carried me. Justice anchored me. Impermanence freed me. Gratitude warmed me. Learning lit me. One night I sat on the fire escape, a stray cat. Not ash, but a wiry black thing, watching me from the railing. I tossed it a crust, smiled as it ate. "You don't worry, do you?" I said. It didn't answer, just leapt off into the dark. I didn't need it to. Stoicism had taught me what that cat knew. Life's a storm, but calmness is yours if you claim it. I'm stoiccat, scarred, quiet, alive, and that's enough.